climax of this Players' Championship. We have had a glorious week here in Llandudno, a stunning day today as well, and some stunning snooker right from the opening session on Monday. But we were served up a bit of a treat this afternoon. What do we expect tonight?
I'm expecting Ronnie to close this match out. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case from a neutral point of view. I'm hoping that Shaun Murphy cuts out the silly mistakes. I've been thinking about it, and I think that Shaun Murphy kind of finds the easier side of the game the most difficult because he's that talented. He has to cut out the silly mistakes if he's going to get back in. This 3-1 first mini-session is the obvious target. Yes,
Stephen Hendry, you called it in the first couple of frames of the match. You thought, you know, Murphy had almost blown his chances early on in this match.
Yeah, you really can't afford, you know, when you're playing Ronnie Sullivan, you really got to put him on the back foot as soon as possible, keep him in his chair. He had the chance to do that in the second frame. He went into the pack, he had a slightly longer red than they would have liked, but I still expect him, the way he played in the first frame, to get it. He missed it. And from then on, you know, it was never, you know, he should have won the first 3 frames today, and that would have had a completely different complexion on his final.
Yes, Neil Foulds, Ronnie's a dangerous man when he gets his nose in front.
Well, certainly. I mean, very few people have beaten him from a long way in front. It is only 6-3, you know. I mean, he's not over the line yet, and as long as he doesn't think he's won, and one is, you know, we're thinking about this is 5 ranking event wins, but he, you know, it's not 7-2 or 8-1, it's 6-3, and it's a dangerous lead in that he's still got to do this, he's still got to play and perform, and I don't know if he's playing as well as he can either. That's the only downside. Yeah,
it's a best of 19 match, this one. Stephen, let's take a look then at the early stages of this match, because Murphy won the opening frame, and this is the moment you think in the second frame that was critical.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's already normal. I mean, that's almost a penalty kick for someone like Shaun. His long game is as good as, if not better than anyone in world snooker. He missed it by a long way. That was the first pressure shot he had to play.
Yeah, almost every little sequence we're seeing here, when you look at the scoreboard and the frame scores, that you can see that Shaun's almost in charge for most of them, but you cannot give Ronnie O'Sullivan these little chances. Again, here in frame 3, Shaun's in complete control, guys, isn't he? But does he make a mental error, Neil?
Well, I mean, Ronnie missed that 2 or 3 times. I think it was 3 times, but you know he's going to glance it in the end, and there was an opportunity to play a different shot here. I thought, you know, Ronnie could have been in more trouble. In the end, you know, he's so good that he's going to glance off that red, and then when he did glance off it, you knew that. I said straight away in commentary, OK, now he's played that shot successfully, he's right back in the frame, and he was. And the story of this session was the way that he pinched frame 2 and pinched frame 3, and it kind of made things, it disheartened Shaun a bit, I think.
And you know what I was saying about Shaun finds the sort of easy side of it the most difficult sometimes? That's basic. You've got to be thin in the red. Play to miss it the first time and get another chance and adjust, as Ronnie done a few shots before it. And I think towards the end of the first mini-session, as we see here, he's taking this red on. I can't see, under any circumstances, potting that the way he's playing it. It was in the last chance saloon in the mini-session. Ronnie breezed this red in, and it was 3-1.
He didn't know what to play, I suppose, but then I thought that shot of Ronnie's was a good one because queuing awkwardly over the top of the bunch could have played a waistcoat foul. I guess Shaun didn't know what to do, but you know that was 3-1, and it could easily have been the other way, 3-1.
He came out after that little interval, and he won the next frame. He won the fifth frame, which was really important. But then Ronnie, well, it was larceny, wasn't it? It was burglary, sixth frame.
He just makes far less, it makes very few unforced errors, Ronnie O'Sullivan. That shot there, I mean, that's a complete mishit, really. I mean, the cue ball's in no man's land.
It's a basic shot, isn't it? Yeah, he's coming back for a black and probably the opposite corner.
This is a phenomenal shot. So much left-hand side in the cue ball. It looked like he couldn't get on the red.
Yeah, I thought he'd lost the cue ball initially here, and then he drifts this red in. I think this is arguably the best shot that Ronnie's played of the session, coming up right here. Again, he was behind, again, looking at the scoreboard, the frame scores and the point score. Knocks the black in. Lovely little yellow here to just catch the blue full in the face, and from then he took charge.
He's got a lot of class from me, hasn't he? You know, he's a shot maker there. You saw that cannon was a shot you wouldn't practice. And now Shaun's wilting a bit. You know, this was a bad one to miss for no obvious reason. He's doing nothing with the cue ball. It's going up for a red anyway, so that was an error. And then, I know that you guys like this shot. I think it's brilliant. I mean, it didn't look much if you don't know how to play the game because it's a little chip, but he kept getting the right side of the blue, and, you know, he was very accurate on those sort of shots. This was a push shot which, very sportingly, Shaun owned up on, which probably made no difference, but, you know, sportsmanship's still alive in snooker, which is great.
We've been talking about mistakes. Is there, Stephen, a question about some of the decisions that Sean's made in this match?
Yeah, one or two. I think when we go back to when Ronnie missed that red 3 times, getting the glance and escape, Ronnie would have had a very horrible shot from tight under the baulk cushion, but Sean chose to put him back in again. It was only a matter of time before Ronnie got the shot right. So yeah, little decisions. Maybe you talk about match play and hardened match play, and Ronnie's probably the more of the street fighter out there.
Yeah, Ronnie is certainly more astute than Sean. That's nothing against Sean, because he's actually improving in all departments like that. But Ronnie, we think about him as being a dazzling break builder, and his highest break in this match so far is only 69. Not anything like he usually does, but he's got a little bit of streetwise skills of ways, ringcraft of getting frames won. It
was so important though for Shaun Murphy to win that last frame of the afternoon session, wasn't it? It showed great character there.
Well, this is typical Shaun Murphy. He can play 2 or 3 horrible frames, and then he comes up with this, similar to the Mark Williams break that a couple of days ago. Somehow pots this long red. I don't know how, because he must have been feeling awful at the time. 6-2 behind, eventually bursts the pack open, gets them out in the open. Probably quite relieved actually to see the black get tied up there, strangely, and he could pick a few reds off. But it was a beautiful break. Just a pity that the match was falling away from at that point, that time,
He knows how to win, Ronnie. Let's take a look at his record this season. He's made a lot of finals, and when he gets into a final, he's a difficult man to beat.
Well, only Sean's done it, hasn't he? That's the point. Obviously, the Hong Kong Masters, Neil Robertson beating, that was a big money event, not ranking. And he's won a ranking event in each month. There's been one, English Open October, Shanghai Masters November, UK Championship December. There was nothing in January, only the Masters, which isn't ranking, which he didn't win. February, World Grand Prix. March, almost certainly Players' Championship. So, one for every month.
Something in common with every win in that, the 4 wins in that. He won every final easily. And that's a worry. When he wins handsomely, usually.
Let's take a look at Shaun Murphy's finals then this season, because he has been consistent this season, Alan.
Yeah, I mean, he's been consistent. We don't put a lot of stock in the Championship League, Group 4 up the top there. But obviously the UK, he got brushed aside from 5-all. Ronnie won the last 5 frames. Our champion of champions, he was magnificent. Competed with Sullivan all day there, and a couple of other finals early on in the first half of the season.
And the Paul Hunter Classic and the China Championship, 2 finals he lost in the space of 5 days, because one finished on the Tuesday and on the Sunday he lost the second one. But he's having a bit of a laugh, and he's pleased to be here. He's one of these guys. I'm sure he's very disappointed if he loses, but he embraces everything about being a snooker pro. I mean, you've got to give him credit for that.
It's great to see the 2 players there warming up. They're about to come out onto the floor into this quite intense environment. There's not many sports where you wouldn't see 2 tennis players just doing that just immediately before coming out onto the court, would you?
Don't suppose you would, Yeah. I mean, I think about tennis players, they actually have to knock up with each other, so I suppose there's a little bit more of a bond. Ronnie's not going to give much away there, as Stephen wouldn't have done. Stephen wouldn't blank anybody who's playing, wouldn't you?
It's funny at those times, probably 5 or 10 minutes before the off, that there's almost a kind of awkwardness in the practice room when you don't know will I say hello or what will I do? You best just keep yourself to yourself, get the head down.
Yeah, take a leaf out of Stephen's book.
Exactly,
Blank him.
Exactly.
Blank everyone.
Say nothing. Say nothing. All right, let's very quickly then, before we get this one underway, prediction?
I think Ronnie handsomely. 10-5.
I think if Ronnie wins the first frame, he wins 10-3.
I don't think that. I think Sean might come out all guns blazing. We know he's playing well enough. He might nick at the first couple and make things interesting at least.
All right then, coming up on the other side of the break, we will have the conclusion of the 2018 Players' Championship Final. Can Shaun Murphy derail the rocket? We'll find out very shortly. The man they call the magician will need to have a few tricks up his sleeve if he's to resist the relentless charge of Ronnie O'Sullivan. And Stephen Hendry knows all the tricks in the book when it comes to closing out big finals. He's alongside Phil Yates in the commentary box. Before we hear from them, though, here to welcome the players is MC John McDonald.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the action that's coming to you live from the venue Cymru here in Llandudno. Hello, welcome back to our final of the Ladbrokes Players' Championship. That's brought to you by World Snooker, live on ITV Sport, as we welcome the millions of viewers joining us around the world. Our referee, Yang Shears, is ready to meet the finalists. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the players. Would you please welcome firstly the 2005 champion of the world, the inaugural Ladbrokes Players Champion, ladies and gentlemen, the magician, Shaun Murphy! And now, ladies and gentlemen, here he is, the 5-time champion of the world, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan!
It is the best walk in snooker. Down those stairs into the arena for the closing session of a final, particularly a tournament of this prestige. The Ladbrokes Players Championship has reached its climax.
Frame 10. Shaun Murphy to break.
Shaun Murphy breaks off in what is a massive frame in his ambitions to win this final. As I said in the studio, I feel if he loses this frame, I think the final will go very quickly. We could have a similar situation to when Ronnie beat Ding Junhui last month. Over very quickly. Shaun Murphy needs the same start that he had against Mark Williams last night. Just a flawless 3 frames he played.
Yes, O'Sullivan has lost substantial advantages in past finals, but not very often. Very rarely, in fact.
Well, that'll make him feel good. Excellent long pop. Perfectly on the black. There was a part of his game that was strangely lacking this afternoon, his long game.
But it was to that pocket he potted a cracking red to launch his 77 break in frame 9. He would love something around that mark here.
No.
Screw the cue ball through the bunch of reds here. chose to play for a more comfortable red.
16.
Maybe just a little bit too straight in the black to play that shot.
17.
Good thing as far as Sean Murphy's concerned. He'll know exactly what his job is tonight, and what he has to do is just basically come out and play perfect snooker. Anything less,
23.
he's not going to get the job done. Going to play as well as he can play tonight. He's
24.
capable of winning this final. Capable of freezing his opponents out for 3, 4, 5 frames at a time.
$31. 32.
He may play for the loose red here. They're not the best bunch to go into. There's not a big target. There's one red to make contact with. So yeah, play for the loose red and go up for the blue this time. About 3 or 4 inches short of the cue
39.
ball.
$40.
Brown looks like the only available colour for any opportunity to go into the bunch. Yeah, just enough angle in the green to screw directly. And this needs some cue power. Oh, what a shot. What a shot. That's very unlucky. That's the only problem with that shot. You just can't
43.
create enough speed on the cue ball. But still, you would expect it to be on something.
It's been one of those matches so far where when the players have gone into the balls, they've not been all that lucky. That was a really valiant effort from Murphy.
Sean Murphy, 43.
Well, the question now, can O'Sullivan pull another frame out of the fire? Remember, he stole the second, he stole the third and the sixth. Those 3 frames, basically the crux of the first session. Why he's where he is at the moment with a 3-frame advantage. If he could win this one, what a massive blow that would be. Red completely obscured by the brown.
Maybe forced to taking this red on to the left corner. The only safe place for the cue ball to avoid leaving the red over the right corner is to the left-hand side of that table, that ball ken, but Can't really get there. Suppose he could play it thin off the red on the left cushion with the right hand side, double the red across and bring the cue ball back up the left hand side of the table. Pot's almost as difficult as the safety shot. Here we go. So that bit of good fortune for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Although he's 43 points behind, he's gone favourite for this first frame.
One.
The cue ball just stopped in time. Thought for 1 second he was going to be snookered in the pink.
Seven. Eight.
All of the great champions have been different kinds of individuals, different kind of players, but one thing they have in common, the ability to identify big moments. Now Sullivan fully cognizant of the fact that if he can clear up here, it might be not the end, but the beginning of the end.
14.
Not the obvious hurdle to overcome. Should you get that far is obviously the yellow.
15. $21. 22. 28. 29.
'Leaning over a little too far here. It was a pretty stock shot, but that's breaking the textbook rules.
36.
Now the black's on its spot, though, this break's so much easier.
37.
'He'll keep that red next to the blue till last, obviously.
43.
And either play for blue or green or brown, which obviously makes position, or good position on the yellow, a
44.
lot easier. Because he needs a nice angle on the yellow.
The alternative, of course, is to try and pot 2 reds, 2 blacks, and then he would only need the yellow, so
51.
wouldn't have to think about any position on the green.
52.
Yeah, I was never one for the maths, Phil. I just kept potting balls. But one thing, he'd want to pot the green and brown as well, get the frame one. Make sure his opponent doesn't come back to the table. Well, there'll be no black potted from this red.
$59. 60.
Blue, yellow and green. Needs a little bounce. Well, if he picked the cue ball up with his hand, he couldn't have
65.
placed it any better.
Without wishing to exaggerate, this could be the match right here. Pinged it.
Yeah, the absolute perfect angle in the yellow, so he could
67.
put the yellow in just at the right dead pace to drop on the green.
70.
Real killer blow to Sean Murphy's hopes, this. Okay, Ronnie Sullivan was very
74.
fortunate to get the snooker behind the brown. But it just looked inevitable as soon as he got in.
79.
This O'Sullivan's highest break of the match. And in the
85.
eyes of many, it will be considered the most significant.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 92 in the frame.
Rocket, relentless. That's 4 clearances in this match already, and he leads by 7 frames to 3.
Thank you. The 11th frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 3 frames away from becoming the Ladbrokes Players Champion of 2018 and equaling the all-time record for most ranking events won in a single season. A record that's held by Ding Junhui, Mark Selby, and the man sitting to my left, Stephen Hendry, who, when he won his 5, did so out of 8. 5 out of 8. This would be 5 out of 10 for O'Sullivan this season.
Good safety shot, Sean Murphy. Appreciated the tap on the table from his opponent. Blocked out on the right hand side of the table. He's looking at the 2 cushion glancing escape, because it's very hard to see a normal route back to the bulk end. I'm going to try and lay on the 2 reds just above the black. Well, in fact, he could play it dead weight straight aside, so he's kept it safe. There's a red to left middle. Oh.
What?
There's pressure on this black. Excellent shot. Cued that superbly well. A wry smile.
8.
Is he on nothing? Well, as you can see quite clearly there's a red that goes.
Nine.
play for the red that's above the black to the left corner here. Well, he's got a choice there. He could put the cue ball into an area to leave himself a choice of 3 or 4 reds. Could have done a lot more in the cue ball. That's a very poor shot.
13.
That was brilliant.
14.
He must have been so disappointed with his previous shot.
Apropos of nothing, this morning Shaun Murphy was available at 25 to 1 to win the World Championship. If you want an outsider, that is value for me. 25 to 1.
He's so talented. He really is. Every shot in the game,
19.
for me, he just still makes too many unforced errors. And over the length of matches they play at the Crucible, those multiply and can cost you.
$20. $25.
So far in this final, he's been really resilient on several occasions when O'Sullivan's made one of those big clearances. You think it might be the coup de grace, the moment where Murphy's challenge, his resistance, will be over. But on many occasions, he's come back out punching in the very next frame.
$26. $33. 34. $41. 42.
I think he's okay. For a second, he might be hampered by this red. Oh, tell me that cue ball hasn't stuck on the red.
49.
That's end of break. Well, unless he wants to play a very risky plant to the left corner.
Touching ball.
And tell me Phil, fortune is going to play a part in this second frame as well.
Well, first frame of the evening, if you remember, Murphy made 43. Didn't score again. He was bang in, then suddenly he's totally out.
Well, there you see, it's bang, straight plant, bridging over. Not easy. Well done. Is he on the black? I think so. Well done
50.
to hold your composure. Surely now he's going to go on and win this second frame of the evening session.
57. 58.
Taking these very well. Showed good character. It's a test of his belief. Being this far behind, does he believe he can still win this match? He's on this red, but he almost wasn't.
64.
Should be money in the bank, this. Neither player so far in the match has missed a ball with the rest. Stunning over for the black, which is frame ball. It's been a really captivating contest,
72.
this. Had pretty much everything apart from a century.
73.
And let's hope he makes it, because it would be the 28th century of the tournament. And with Ladbrokes donating £100 per century to the Jessie May Children's Hospice at Home charity, we like to see the totaliser creeping up.
79. $80. $86. 87.
Really is a fantastic
94.
snooker player to watch. As I said earlier, he's got every shot in the game.
95.
Talent to burn. Fabulous break. Couple of little
102.
panic situations in the middle of it, but
103.
all in all, it's pretty nailed on when he got in and split the bunch. Needs more of this if he's going to win this match.
110.
Keep his opponent in his chair.
112.
Doesn't matter how good you are, when you're sat there, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. That's the brutality of snooker.
115.
Can't make enough to set a new target for the high break prize. O'Sullivan's in line for that, thanks to his 143 against Judd Trump in the semi-finals. But a real statement.
124. $130. 137. And a frame.
Total clearance, total excellence. Sean Murphy is proving admirably stubborn. It's 7-4. Inferno. But this is Sunday night fever at the snooker.
Frame 13. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
And playing pretty hot, Mr. O'Sullivan. Like greased lightning, he's taken an 8-4 lead.
Foul. And a miss.
Answers on a
Ronnie
postcard.
O'Sullivan, 7.
What happened there, Steve?
Free ball.
Well, it was an excellent shot to Snooker running behind the black. This always looked, Sean looked bemused, but it always looked the line to me that the cue ball was going on.
Alan McManus made a really good point before the evening session began, saying that O'Sullivan's victories in tournaments this season, in all of the finals he's played, he's won easily. 10-3 in the Shanghai Masters against Judd Trump, 9-2 against Kyron Wilson in the English Open, 10-5 against Shaun Murphy in the UK Championship, 10-3 against Ding in the World Grand Prix, and the way things are going, it's going to be another
Foul. And a miss.
walk in the park.
Ronnie
But
O'Sullivan,
I just
4.
get the feeling if Murphy can get ahead of steam, it might not be over yet, but he's got to win this frame. We've seen very little sustained cagey snooker in this match. The lengthiest frame is only 17 minutes. So the start of this frame breaking the mould somewhat.
And also this final unusual in the fact that O'Sullivan yet to make a century break. Can't have been many finals he's won in his career without making one.
Touching ball again.
Two tempters into either middle pocket. He doesn't normally take an undue risk, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
One.
Well, if in doubt, pot yourself out of trouble. What a pot this was. We've got another one here. It's green to left middle. It's almost as tough. Another great shot. He gets stronger the closer he gets to the winning line.
4. Five.
And that must be demoralising for Murphy because, OK, the opening red was brilliant, but he was never going to be on anything easy, O'Sullivan. He knew in potting that green it would open things up, and he dealt with the pressure and just floated it in.
Twelve. $13. $20. 21. $28. 29.
Well, he's on a red to left corner, but I don't think he
34.
get any position. Even if he can get to the red.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 34.
Opened up the previous frame with 40. Made the most of his second chance, and that's what he's hoping to do again here. Taking out two insurance policies, one red on the left-hand side cushion, one on the right-hand side cushion, making it all the more difficult for Murphy to launch a counter-attack. And now O'Sullivan's glad of those 2 reds, very glad.
Three. Four.
O'Sullivan's plundered 4 frames from well behind. Are we going to see a form of role reversal here? That greatly helps.
Yeah, before he played the blue, I was going to say it looked like pretty much a natural angle to cannon that red. Sean Murphy raised his hand as an apology. He didn't play the cannon. This isn't easy to get position, aiming down on the cue ball when it's so close to the cushion.
Sean Murphy, 9.
He called it, Stephen. The only good thing with the previous shot from Murphy, inadvertently, he got the other awkward red off the side cushion. So they're all there if he can get in again. So pressure on this.
One.
Oh, how well did he get into the cue ball there? It didn't look possible to avoid the cannon on the yellow. To come in and out of bulk without making contact when in the bulk colours was an incredible shot.
Three. Four.
Inching ever closer to what would be his 33rd world ranking title.
6.
And remarkably, it would be the 17th different ranking tournament he's won.
Yeah, Phil, who's going to step up to the plate and stop this man? John Higgins beat him comfortably in the Welsh Open, and I think one of possibly only 2 or 3 players in the game that Ronnie actually thinks can beat him.
7.
This final is starting to look, well, it is looking like another procession to the winning line.
Lots of things make O'Sullivan unique. One of them is that he's the dominant force in the
13.
game, and yet people still want him to win.
14.
Can't get enough.
20.
Yeah, in the 90s I certainly had a
21.
fear factor over a lot of the players, but not to the extent that Ronnie's got it at the moment in World Snooker. Some great snooker players in this game,
27.
and I think
28.
Almost 97, 98% of them don't believe they can beat this man at the table.
All true, and the lengthier the match, the more frightening it becomes.
36.
The opponent who's beaten O'Sullivan most often, of course, is himself, but not these days.
42. 43.
Yeah, it's just very
49.
an easy life in snooker for Ronnie O'Sullivan at the moment. He just turns up at a venue
51.
and collects a trophy at the end of the week.
$54.
In form, he's
58.
always been relentless. Now, though, he's ruthless.
$63. $69.
He's the king of snooker. And here in Llandudno, he's now one frame away from being crowned champion. Yet again, the scoreline, 9-4.
He leads 9 frames to 4 here. Neil, at the start of this evening, you said 6-3 was a dangerous lead.
Yeah.
What are you making 9-4?
Well, it's not dangerous anymore. It's all over, isn't it, now? And, yeah, I just think that Ronnie had to just make sure he didn't do anything silly. And, you know, he hasn't won 32 ranking events by taking anyone lightly, and he didn't do that. I don't think he's scoring quite as well as he can. And we've seen how devastating a scorer he can be this season more than ever. But he's producing little flashes of brilliance that are winning frames right now, and some of the things he's doing are just wonderful to watch.
Just putting Shaun Murphy under so much pressure, isn't he? I said he had him in a stranglehold. He has, hasn't he?
It's been more of the same, isn't it? You know, it's been a bit feast or famine by Shaun Murphy's. Looked good in short spells, as Neil says. Ronnie's not scored that heavy, but the little bursts that he put in are full of class and quality, and he's dominating again, I'm afraid. And Shaun, the silly mistakes have continued.
Let's take a look then at this opening 4 frames of the evening session.
Yeah, I was saying actually at the top tonight, he plays the difficult shots better. I mean, most guys on the tour wouldn't even be able to attempt that shot. That's how difficult it was. It was unfortunate, wasn't it?
He deserved to be on something there. Now this here we see Ronnie. He can only get onto the yellow in a certain area. He couldn't have put it any better with his hand to go yellow, roll it in and get on, because he wants green as well. And he hits it beautifully, doesn't he?
It's a magnificent shot. I mean, the way that he played it as well, he just kind of stroked it and didn't worry about leaving it, and that's a big key. That
took him to 7-3, but then Murphy made sure that we did have at least an interval with a magnificent break here.
Yeah, he did, and it was a fine break. And this is, you know, what the point Alan's making. You know, okay, he didn't play a very good shot there, but he recovered the situation. You know, he is cueing ever so well, but he just doesn't seem to have. He can't sustain it, and you know, he's just finding Ronnie's pulling some out the hat, isn't he? End of frame. So many frames Ronnie's won, Alan, that you know he could have easily lost.
Well, too right. I mean, the last couple of frames as well, I think Shaun, again, a couple of chances going into frame 12. This was some of the good Ronnie stuff. How he's avoided the black here. He's got so deep in the cue ball and stopped short of the baulk line to set up the half ball brown and rip into the pack. He didn't go on and make a big contribution from there. But Shaun here, Stephen called it in comms. I mean, this is the easy side of the game that he gets wrong. If you say to Shaun Murphy, pot that blue and get on the red just adjacent to the spot, he would do it every time.
If Stephen says he's tried too much, and he's tried too much, you know.
Too ambitious.
Yeah, and these 2 shots here, well, I mean, look, you won't see 2 better shots. Look at this. He's played that, and a lot of people think, well, that's good, I potted the red, that's out of the way. In a way, this green is more difficult because he's doing damage. Incredible way of getting in. A wonderful stroke maker, shot maker, getting in from nothing.
If anything, the initial long red that he potted puts more pressure on that green, and it's difficult enough, by the way, as it is. Sean again, half chances and he's not taking them. And Ronnie's going to punish you. He's going to kill you.
This is a sort of shot I'd expect Judd Trump to play really brilliantly, you know, really making that cue work in and out of baulk. You know, the fact is, Ronnie O'Sullivan's got everything, and we should just think, right, look, this is a guy who's going to win 5 ranking events in the season. He's in his 43rd year. You've got to enjoy this because you don't know how long he's going to be around for. It's just wonderful to watch him play.
As you say, on the brink of 5 ranking events, continues to play like this, continues to dominate matches and put pressure on players. He could win 6 or 7.
The interesting thing is, what age is he? 42, 43? There is no sign whatsoever that this is going to stop at some stage, because he is improving and improving, getting better all the time. It really is amazing.
Neil, you're going to be heading into commentary very soon. How long do you think you're going to be in there?
1 or 2 frames, no longer than that. And, you know, it's a pleasure to commentate on him play. You know, he's a wonderful, wonderful player, and he excites you every time.
OK, stay with us for the conclusion of the final of the 2018 Players' Championship. Ronnie O'Sullivan on the brink of his 5th ranking title of the season. Will he bring it home? That's after the break.
A wonderful ovation from this capacity crowd as the players return.
Frame 14.
With Ronnie O'Sullivan 5 up with 6 to play. Surely he will clinch his 5th ranking title of the season sometime soon.
Well, that's a loose one, a rare loose shot at range. The red, I think, by the black is certainly available, albeit not easy to get away from hitting the black on the way through. I'm sure he'll go for it. Can he avoid the black here? Well, he couldn't. Just remember thinking that when Ronnie won in Preston, the World Grand Prix, and that was for the top 32 players, of course, on the 1-year list. Our eyes, thoughts came onto this event here in Llandudno. Top 16 on the 1-year, longer matches. And I thought to myself, well, who's going to beat O'Sullivan? And the answer appears to be that no one can.
Murphy's long pot fails. Indeed, his long potting today hasn't been anything like as good as it was beating Mark Williams in the semi-finals. Oh, what?
Goodness, well, that is just unbelievable, because he's doing nothing with this. He's not trying to do anything, just pot it. There's no mystery to the shot.
What?
Well, what can Murphy do except stick to his game, stick to his method, fight it out to the last? But he's made far more unforced errors over the day's play than O'Sullivan has. And also, O'Sullivan has been tactically superior.
No.
Go as far as to say, Clive, that's one of the easiest shots I think that O'Sullivan's missed the whole season. He's played so well. It was just a regulation red. The audience won't mind if Murphy wins 2 or 3 more frames, even if they're neutrals.
15.
Or even O'Sullivan fans just want to see more of this. 2 great players.
16.
Murphy did once win a match from 5 down with 6 to play against Matthew Stevens at the Crucible, but
22.
this is Ronnie O'Sullivan he's playing.
Yes, I was actually just going to say exactly that. I was commentating on that match, and he felt, well, in a minute it's all going to come back on him, the pressure. And he won frame after frame, and when he got to 12 all, he just kept potting. Brilliant win.
This is very awkward.
Yes, he's already played one push shot today, and this is... Yes, could go that way as well. Well, it was clean, and it's a great shot. But, of course, with the pink not available, the next colour's not easy.
Can we switch it off, please?
Well, he must have known that from a thin cut the cue ball was going
From F23.
very near the baulk pocket.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 5.
Quite rare that the in-off will happen before the pot happens.
And worst of all, it leaves an easy starter. From O'Sullivan, this has not been a performance of sustained brilliance of the standard of his display in the English Open final when he beat Karen Wilson 9-3. Pot success rate 98%, made 4 centuries, only missed 6 pots all day, but it has been a performance from him of sustained effectiveness.
Yes, his end game has been absolutely superb today. He's taken frames from Sean Murphy
6.
that he probably shouldn't have won, and right at the most important moment he's produced the big shots. You're absolutely right, I've seen him score better.
7.
And of course there might have been a time in his career when if he wasn't really scoring very big, he wouldn't win at all.
Earlier in his career he was perhaps a little bit too fixated on quality of performance rather than results, but he's got very interested in results lately.
15.
Yes, and for years people said, well, we know he's a brilliant player, but it's unfulfilled talent, a career that might have been better, but I don't think you can say that anymore. I think he's maximising everything he's got. His talent,
22.
his ability to win, it's all there now.
He's a better
23.
competitor than he's ever been. I think he would describe his performance today as solid, high-class solidity.
29.
As he said, sometimes solid is enough.
30.
And Ronnie O'Sullivan is much more effective in his lower gears than he ever has been.
Yes, and of these 5 ranking tournaments that he's going to win, I'm including this one because I think he's about to win it. I think he played his best in Barnsley, and his best, that's at the English.
36.
And he went the other side of the defeat to Sean, the champion of champions, played some outstanding snooker in
37.
Shanghai, in the Shanghai Masters. He was actually a class apart in those events. He had 1 or 2 difficult matches. Obviously the
43.
semi-final victory against Judd Trump is a match that he freely admitted that he probably could easily have lost or should have lost.
44.
But he's a wonderful player, the best I've seen. Privileged to be working with Stephen Hendry, who's another of the great players of the game. Those 2 stand alone
51.
for me.
This is his last chance to make a century today. It's very unusual for O'Sullivan to win a final without making one.
Well, I'll tell you something, Clive, he hasn't won one match this year without
59.
making a century in it. So this is his chance to keep that run going.
60.
Just in between shots here, though.
'68.
The match will be over at the end of this visit,
75.
and it looks as if it is going to be a century from O'Sullivan.
76.
Yes, and he's avenged the defeat in Coventry in the Champion of Champions final. He's bitterly disappointed to have lost, I know. And of course he beat Sean Murphy in the Masters UK final, I should say.
83.
Almost scuppered his chances of a century.
What a pot that is. It was so difficult played the way that he played it. And this isn't easy either. Well, I'd love to see him make one. Nope.
The match ends without O'Sullivan making a century, but he concludes it with a break of 85. He beats Sean Murphy by 10 frames to 4 for the £125,000 first prize. He is an authentic superstar, snooker's answer to Tiger Woods and Roger Federer. His friend Robbie, who's been with him all week, congratulates him. Sean Murphy takes £50,000 as runner-up. He had his moment of glory in the semi-finals, beating Mark Williams, and he also made a break of 137 in this final, but he was overall outplayed by this marvellous snooker player. So, all over bar the presentations, so over to John McDonald to introduce those.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It was always going to be an amazing final, and now it's time for our presentation. On behalf of Ladbrokes, would you please welcome the head of sponsorship, Adrian Osman, who will now present our runner-up with his £50,000 and his silver medal, Sean Murphy.
Sean, congratulations on making this final, because given how you've been the last few weeks, I think you would have been relieved just to be playing here. Is that not fair?
Yeah, having pulled out the last two events, you know, I came here with absolutely no expectations, you know, barely able to play at all. So to be stood here talking to you tonight, having had the chance to take that beautiful trophy home, you know, is beyond my wildest dreams. I just, you know, last night I predicted that if I didn't play my best, I wouldn't win. And I was right.
The thing is, though, you know, when you get into a final, you do want to win it, but you have come up against one of the very best in the business. Just a word on Ronnie and his season.
Well, you know, I wouldn't speak for all the players, but on behalf of the players, I think to pay a tribute to Ronnie, what he's achieving at the moment, what the standard he's playing, prolonging his career, and taking the game to new heights. You know, we're living in a very special time in snooker. It's a real honour to share the stage with Ronnie, and today I just wasn't good enough.
But what I would say, Sean, is you've given him a good game today. You've played fantastically well all week to get into this final, and with a couple of big tournaments coming up, how are you feeling? And given the next situation, you must take a bit of confidence out of this week.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just goes to show that, you know, there's plenty in the memory bank, because I genuinely haven't played very much. I can't wait now to get to the, you know, China Open in Beijing next week. as we build into the, that's the second biggest event now on tour, and then build into the World Championships. It's hopefully going to be an exciting few weeks.
Best of luck to you, Sean. Thank you very much indeed. I'm going to have a word with our champion now, if I may. Ronnie, you've got into a tremendous winning habit. Your 5th ranking title of the season. Just how does that sound?
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, to equal the record of Stephen and Mark Selby, so yeah, just over the moon. And Sean played an amazing match yesterday against Mark Williams, so I was expecting a really tough game today, but he didn't show up like he did last night, so made it a little bit easier for me, but I still had to focus and treat every shot with respect, because you have to, and I played pretty decent, and yeah, just really pleased,
Stephen Hendry up there was saying you're invincible at the moment. Do you feel that? Do you feel as though there's nobody out there at the moment really can challenge you?
No, not at all. Every match I come into, I always get heebie-jeebies. But once I'm out there, I start to feel like I fancy it. So it's always the build-up for me that I kind of doubt myself. But once I'm out there playing, then it's just it comes pretty natural. So, but listen, I've just got to try and, like Sean said, try and prolong my career. I can't play as much as all the other guys because I'd just be burnt out. So I need a bit of a rest now to give myself a chance for the remaining tournaments coming up. 33
career ranking titles. Are you in the form of your life now?
I'm playing as good as I ever have done. The last 6 years I've played pretty good stuff. The odd year or so where I probably didn't focus as much on match snooker, but this year I really have, and the results have shown. So I'm just delighted to still be picking up a bit of silverware.
And of course you enjoy being here in Llandudno. We've seen you running on the Great Orme every day. It's been a great tournament, hasn't it? This crowd have been fantastic.
Yeah, the crowd are amazing. One of the best crowds we play in front of. A great venue, a great tournament. Top 16, no numpties, which is great. So this tournament has a bit of quality. Some of the other tournaments, you just it's like being in the zoo. But no, this is pretty nice. This is like first class. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, you've been first class as well, really. We wish you all the best for the next couple of big tournaments coming up, and I'll let you now get on with the presentation. Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, and now Adrian Osman, on behalf of Ladbrokes, will make the presentation and the moment we've all been waiting for. £125,000, the gold medal, the magnificent trophy, his 33rd ranking title. Ladies and gentlemen, let's crown him the Ladbrokes Players Champion 2018, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan! Well, we've got rather used to seeing Ronnie O'Sullivan with a trophy in his hand. He's had a fantastic season, and what a fantastic week here in Llandudno. We're not going anywhere. We'll be back to take a closer look at this week's fantastic action here in a couple of minutes. Sullivan has secured his 5th ranking title of the season. A real classy week from the Rocket here in the venue Cymru, his 33rd career ranking title, and who is going to stop him? He certainly enjoyed that one, and will no doubt be celebrating as we look back on what has been a high quality week of snooker. Here is our pick of the hot shots.
1.
We did not have any difficulty at all picking out some hot shots this week. We were spoiled for choice. That was the kind of overview. Let's dig into the ones that we picked out specifically. Stephen, let's see your favourite.
A bit lean this week, I think. I wasn't that impressed.
Oh, I thought I had some great shots.
I like Ding's shot. I like, off the knuckle. This is a clever shot. I mean, you can
classy, wasn't it?
You can go in off, but you know, it's the start of the frame. Maybe he feels it's a risk worth taking, but yeah, perfectly played. Cool shot.
And the way he was able to control the cue ball off the back end of it, just stunning. Yeah. Who are we going to go to now? Alan, what about yours?
I've got to go for the.
Oh, no, we know what yours is.
The red into the green pocket, wasn't it, by O'Sullivan, this one? Yeah. And if it doesn't go in this time, we are all going home.
Can you recreate the commentary
right,
on
okay.
this?
He can't pot that from here, surely. Oh, get out of here!
It was a fantastic shot.
Brilliant shot.
We were packing our bags. You said if he pots this, we could all go home. Oh, we're going to see it again. Well worth it. It could have been all of our hot shots, so we all liked that one. Including Joe Perry, who's not here but was with us at the start of the week. He liked that one as well. Neil, let's have a look at yours.
Yeah, I've gone with Mark Selby, who we mustn't forget is the world champion. He played a good shot here. He looked at this. It wasn't a fluke. You know, he had a look at the angle, and it was all in live play, and it gave him a chance.
Bit of flukage there, I think.
A fluke? Oh, I don't think so.
No,
do you think it's a fluke?
That.
He looked at it. And he didn't apologise either.
If I picked that, you'd have said it was a fluke. That's just saying. Do you want to see mine? Come on, it's a plant. It's a plant. I usually go for a double, but it's a two-ball. It's a two-ball plant.
Okay.
I often go for the double. This one's a two, but they haven't got it there. But it was something spectacular into the middle pocket. But they don't see. My choice is unimportant. Nobody's interested. There was another great one, that Mark Williams four-ball plant as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Here it is. Look, they found it. They've pulled it out the bag. You're
just Ronnie fan, aren't you? Simple as that.
Well, everybody's a Ronnie fan. Plays like this, you can't not be.
See, no, I think
spectacular.
Won him the frame. All of those shots actually were in live play, because sometimes you get exhibition shots, but when you look at the scores and they're played with some importance, that's also good, isn't it?
How have you enjoyed the week, Alan?
Oh, brilliant. I think the standard overall, more centuries this week than a couple of weeks ago with 32 men in the field. Brilliant event overall. Someone's got to step up, as we keep saying.
Well worth coming up for the weekend.
Yep. I'm glad to be here to witness that. Obviously unusual. Ronnie Sullivan win a final with no centuries.
Yeah, it's been great stuff, top to bottom. Just a quick reminder of what we've got coming up here, sports-wise, on ITV. Another of these. Yeah, there he is, Ronnie O'Sullivan, the 2018 Players' Championship winner. And what a reception he's had here in venue Cymru. He was always going to be the man to beat this week, and nobody was up for the job. And what a great final we've had here. Just fantastic. See the irrepressible Ronnie O'Sullivan in action. Neil Foulds, he has impressed us all week from the minute he stepped into the arena.
Yes, and in a different way, I think, to normal, you know. As I say, not this barrage of huge breaks. We saw him make 4 centuries in a best-of-9 against Zhao Guodong in Preston. I think the other frame he won, 270s, ridiculous standard. And he's not played like that, but he seems to have seized on in very important moments in matches where he just pulled out 2 or 3, you know, brilliant shots. I mean, he could have lost in the semi-finals to Judd, and probably should have done. And I think when he came into the studio after that, he thought, wow, there's my lifeline. It's mine now. Another tournament's coming my way. And at the moment, I don't fancy anyone to beat him.
No, we talked about him being invincible, Stephen. He has that air about him now, doesn't he?
Yep, I said in commentary, who's going to step up to the plate? Who's going to, you know, prove themselves and have that belief? I think there's 2 or 3 players. I think there's 3 players that actually go to the table and think they can beat him. I think it's Trump, John Higgins, and Mark Selby. I think the rest are beat before they even get on the table. I mean, Sean Murphy he's proven he can beat him, but on a regular basis, does he really believe he's good enough to beat O'Sullivan regularly? I don't know.
No, it felt that way today, didn't it, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, Sean will be disappointed when he looks back at the chances that he had to only put 4 frames on the board. It'll be a major disappointment. I think he had high hopes coming in because it's such a good performance against Mark Selby, but he's going to have to go and lick his wounds again, as a bunch of the other top guys are, and try and find a way.
Let's have a look at how he won this then. He went into this final frame leading by 9 frames to 4. You know, he knew that this was very much within his grasp.
I think at this point his race is run, and he knows that. You know, he's probably he's potted it in the thin side, as we call it. Lost the cue ball, and by that, as I say, it was pretty much over, guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we go back to that second frame this afternoon. That's how good Ronnie is. You've got to take those chances early. You can't afford to have any slip-ups. You've got to be bang on it from the word go against him to have any chance.
But that was what it was always like playing you, Stephen, to be honest with you. You know, if he didn't do everything that was needed, then you had no chance of beating you. It was the same thing, and even then it was going to be tough. But yeah, he's playing to an amazing standard. His all-round game is quite astonishing now. Though I think it's interesting you mentioned Selby there, because he is the one, if you like, player that's gone missing at the moment. We're not talking about Mark Selby. I know he's world champion and we're looking at Ronnie with the trophy, but you know, Selby over a long match at the Crucible, if he gets his game back, would be a further test for Ronnie O'Sullivan. Just the final test, really, of anything that he hasn't achieved so far recently.
It's about, I suppose, Ronnie's concentration. It seems, in some regards, the only person that can beat Ronnie O'Sullivan is Ronnie himself if he's not focused and on his game. And the one thing that's been crystal clear all this week, Alan, would be how comfortable he's looked. You know, he seems very comfortable in his skin and very settled. Yeah,
and he's done that for quite a long time now, a number of years, actually, since he's worked with a couple of people in the mental side of the game. And he's taken his game to, not his ability. His ability's always been there. He's taken his mental attitude and his application, and probably his practice hours. You know, sometimes I think he says, "Oh, I don't practice." That he practices a lot, from what I hear on the tour, and that's to his credit, by the way. He should practice. He's very dedicated and professional.
It'd be interesting, obviously. I think he did an interview earlier on in the week with Phil, and he credited Steve Peters, I think from 2011 or something, says, and it's helped his mental. So it'd be amazing to see if he didn't have Steve Peters, what would have happened in his career.
Yeah, and there's one match, I think, and it seems strange I should mention one match. It was 2012. He hadn't won anything for a while. He was in the doldrums. He was 4-0 down against Andrew Higginson in the German Masters, came back and won the match 5-4, won the German Masters, won the Worlds, won it the year after, and he's never looked back since. So there was a turning point for me, and it was all in the space of a few days.
And he's 42 years old, and the one thing that's clear about him is he is a consummate professional in that he's at the gym, he's out running, he knows how to keep his head right, and he knows that one of the things that he likes to do is get the endorphins running in the gym, working out in the gym, and then he likes to keep himself fit. You know, some of the younger players could probably learn from that, Alan.
You bet they could. I mean, you know, I was saying about the age he is in his early 40s, but there's absolutely no sign of this letting up. If anything, it's putting more pressure on. And the word he used one word earlier this season to sort of put the wind up the other guy's bottle. He's asking them basically, someone come and challenge me, someone's got to come up, and I don't think he can, by the way. So that kind of it was clever, it's put pressure on everyone. and they're all falling like 9 pins.
It's a heck of a gauntlet, isn't it?
Yep, I mean, if he keeps playing like this, I mean, the World Championship, you know, we know that sometimes he struggles, and he admits that he struggles with the 17-day slog that is Sheffield. I mean, that's a different tournament to everything else. But at the moment, the way it's looking like it could be a little bit of a procession.
Yes, I think, look, if he doesn't like the World Championship, he has won it 5 times, so we shouldn't forget that. He doesn't mind it that much. He prefers it to some players that have never won it, and he will be the man to beat again. But, you know, sometimes the Crucible stirs up pressures, I think, and in the last couple of seasons, I don't think he's been as comfortable there as he has in years gone by, you know. But no one's going to want to play him, are they? No chance.
Some players like to float under the radar a little bit. Judd Trump says he's going to go into the World Championships. Nobody's going to really be looking at him. How does that mantle of being the favourite in the spotlight, the invincible, the one to be, how does that sit on his shoulders, do you think?
I think he can handle it. I don't think he could have won all these tournaments if he couldn't handle it. Yeah, I think going to the World Championships, maybe he doesn't feel under the same pressure this year. Maybe he'll think, well, if I don't win the world title, I've still done a lot of damage. He could well be #1 soon. Everyone's saying, oh, Selby's miles in front. Well, if he doesn't win the World Championship and Ronnie does, Ronnie almost overtakes him at the end of the championship, not far short. And he's going to be #1 next year at some point. He's won everything this year on a 2-year list. So, you know, Selby's reign at the top is potentially coming to an end. He's still the champion. But Ronnie is just winning too many things not to be right up there, and he could be world #1 soon.
Yes, Stephen, how does that sit, do you think, on Ronnie's shoulders? You were in exactly the same position, that big target on your back, but he seems quite comfortable with it.
I think what Alan said, the fact that he can come in and say, challenge the players, have they got the bottle? That means he's comfortable with it. That means he's comfortable saying that, you know, come and get me. You know, it's, you know, come and have a go if you think you're hard enough. It's that saying, isn't it? And nobody at the moment is stepping up. And we say, I mean, go back to John Higgins. You know, he slaughtered him 5-0 in the Welsh Open. But can he sustain that over a long match at the Sheffield? Say best of 25 or best of 31? I don't know.
OK, well, coming up after the break, we will be looking back at the ups and downs from the whole week here in Llandudno, including a bumper selection of hot shots for our expert panel to pick from.